Hey everyone, it's Ashley Cunningham here, and I am really excited to be channeling tonight some of my galactic friends, and we're going to be talking about the healing that takes place by galactic healers. So either we're going to be discussing the healing that takes place with us as humans, the healing that takes place here on Earth, and the healing that they do in other places. So I'm really excited. I have a lot of friends here. I have the Council of Light, as well as some Pleiadians and some Orions. And if you guys aren't familiar, my starseed family team is made up of Pleiadians and Orions. Those are the groups that I personally resonate with and I work with quite often. So I'm really excited to have them here to answer, well, not necessarily to answer questions right away. We will get to questions in a little bit, but I wanted them to kind of walk us through how do they do healing, or how do they approach healing. And I'm really interested to hear what they have to say. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm seeing a lot of hellos. Thank you all. I am going to just refresh my page really quick. Right now, Ray, the Tall Whites are not joined with me. They're not here tonight, but if you have a specific question for maybe a starseed family member or a specific group, we can address those later. This is totally kind of an open galactic channeling, so definitely feel free to post your questions. And let me, whoops, pull this up. Okay, that way I can see all of your guys' names. Sure. Right now, Ray, the Tall White. Okay, sorry. There we go. Okay. All right. So the first group that I want, well, actually, it's not necessarily me wanting. They're just stepping forward first, and that is the Pleiadian group. They've actually been hanging around with me for a while, and my starseed sister, her name is Gloria. She works with me on my exercise, my diet, my ascension, helping me to ground. She does a lot of work with me. And I'm sorry, I just got distracted by a question. Yes, Rita, I will mention that in a minute. I'll get to your question. So yeah, she helps me with a lot of things, but she's also she's actually come in and spoken with me quite often around healing. And I guess you could say a lot of her work is centered around healing. So I think it's pretty cool to connect with her. And I'm just so happy that she's here to join us. And she's just stepping forward and she's saying hello to all of you. And she's just kind of waving and just beaming. And she's just really excited to speak on this matter. She has a lot of knowledge. She works with she's saying many different teams around healing. And she's going to be focusing in on the healing of the Earth and bringing energy here to Earth. So what the Pleiadians and many of the galactic beings do is they work with bringing in more light and more energy here to Earth. And she's showing me an example that she showed me before. I actually had a really cool dream where I was in a ship and they were giving me a tour. And it was really amazing because I got to actually hold it was like a steering wheel almost, but it was like shooting energy into the ley lines that cover the entire Earth. And they were talking about how they help to focus energy into those ley lines to help the surrounding area. So they will go in and they will shoot basically energy or send energy to a specific location. And she's saying that she was happy to guide me in that little excursion. She's saying while it to me felt like a dream, it was more of me being able to leave and go and visit that ship and be there. So it's actually pretty cool. And so they do a lot of work with ley lines. And so that's all over the earth, and they send a lot of energy there. That's one example. They also help to transmute a lot of energy. And she has this example where she's showing me some mountains that I have seen a lot, so I'm very familiar with them. And she's showing that they kind of blast energy waves through the air or through the earth, or in a direction, and they will blast energy waves to where it kind of just like clears out certain lower vibrational frequencies. It kind of just displaces the energy that they want to clean up or transmute. So that's pretty interesting. And they're showing me that there's several ships that are all lined up and blasting these energy frequencies to the mountains. And it doesn't disturb the physical body of the mountain, but it definitely is shifting energy and kind of like washing. It's almost like a washing of energy. So that's pretty cool. And I've never seen that before, but she's just showing that now. And she's also saying that she works and many Pleiadians or galactic beings. And when I say galactic, Rita's question from earlier is she's saying she's unfamiliar with galactic beings. Could I do a quick rundown? So galactic beings are also known as aliens or E.T. beings, extraterrestrials. But there's many groups that are very concentrated here, like the Pleiadians, the Orions, the Lyrans, the Andromedans, the what else? There's a whole bunch. I'm sure I'm totally blanking on like the tall whites, the Nordic beings. There's a lot of different types of beings that are out there. They're not from this area, but they come here because they've answered the call from Gaia to come here and help transmute energy, help bring in more energy or more a higher vibrational frequency into her on the earth, so that way she can receive healing and the support that she needs. And it's also helping all of us humans raise in vibrational frequency. All the work that they're doing is really important to not just Gaia, but also to all of us. So that's kind of what I mean by galactic beings. There's a ton out there. I can't give you a rundown of all of the different types, but if you're interested, Rita or anyone else, feel free to do some research. I do caution you, though, use discernment and use resources that you feel comfortable with or you feel have done a lot of research and have, I guess, like the highest good at heart. There are a lot of sites online that are not really interested in sharing truth, but more spreading fear and worry and stress. So if something that you read about a galactic being, it just doesn't hit true for you, it's okay to discard it. Definitely continue to do research. And sometimes we're faced with things that we just need to grow through. I have channeled a reptilian being before, and before they were like really freaking me out. I was very afraid of them, but at least I was able to connect with a higher vibrational being of that group. And that was kind of cool for me. I'm still not super comfortable with them, but I'm definitely working on it. So we can always definitely grow and expand. And I have another question here from Neva. How can someone find where they are from? Example, Lemuria, etc. Well, a lot of the galactic beings are from the for the Pleiadians, for example, they're from the Pleiades. It's a specific constellation, a section, or a specific grouping of stars. The Orions are from the Orion galaxy, so they're from that location. And there's, I don't know where the rest of the groups are. I know there's a star named Andromeda. I don't know if it's its own series or set of constellations, but definitely do some research and check it out and see where they're from, because there's lots of different kind of, not backstories, but a lot of cool bits of information as to where they come from and kind of what their energy is like. So if you're interested in connecting, definitely start doing some research. But Gloria's kind of getting me to come back around to what she was talking about. She actually, and the Pleiadians and many of the galactic beings that they work with, actually work in tandem with elemental beings or the Fae community. So the Fae, fairies, dwarves, elementals, tree beings, just tons of cool beings that are more of Earth. So they actually work in tandem, and I always find that really interesting because they're from the sky, they're from space, and they work so well and connect so well with the beings here on Earth. And all they want to do is help heal Gaia and work with her, and they really deeply honor Gaia and all of the beings here that are of Gaia. So it's so cool that they work very closely, and Gloria is now saying that how they work together is many times the elementals or different beings, different groups will request or try and coordinate with the galactic beings to bring in more healing. So they're all on the same team, they're all working together. And so they actually request or call them in and have them come and help. And they also work together during the actual healing. So the galactic beings are sending like energy waves or helping to transmute or helping to bring higher vibrational energy to the area through the ley lines or various technologies. And then the elemental beings are also doing their work, and they're working in tandem together. So it's not just one type of being that's working in those ways. They definitely team up with the elemental beings, which I think is so cool. And they help bring a lot of healing to that location. She's saying often the elementals guide them in what is needed. While they have a great understanding, they respect the energies that live in that space or connect and protect that space. So they will often refer or defer to the elemental beings and what they need done. And she's just saying that there's such a deep connection with these beings to Gaia that, and they work with Gaia herself as well. So it's not like there's a buffer there or anything, but there's such a deep connection with these beings to Gaia, and they really honor the Gaia herself in the space, that she's saying it's an honor for them to work in that way with the elemental beings. And she's saying that there are many of you who also connect with maybe a specific place or location, or feel drawn to maybe just your favorite vacation spot or the place that surrounds where you live. And that deep connection can also be honored. And if you wish to call them in to help that location, or you can call them in to send love and light to the whole world. But if you want them to come in and specifically work in that location, she's saying all you need to do is ask. They will be right there. There is much work that can be done. And having partners like lightworkers who are interested in helping their environment, it helps everything. It helps bring more love and light for yourself into your own body, into those around you, or at least around the people that are around you. And they get the choice to anchor that light in or bring that in, especially if they're on their ascension journey, they'll be more sensitive to it. But she's saying working with light workers in this way is, again, another great honor. recognizing that we can be all on the same team and heal Gaia with the power of our vibrational frequencies and our intention and our free will choice and their ability to come in and provide that energetic support and that helping bring in, transmute, and refresh the frequencies of an area, specific location. And she's pointing to, I did in my starseed class earlier this year, my Anchoring the Light starseed class, we did a meditation with a Council of Light and all of our starseed families to help heal the earth in our city, and then expand it out to a greater space in our area. And then we focused our attention onto Australia, where the fires were taking place at that time. It was earlier this year. And also for Puerto Rico, dealing with all of the earthquakes. And it was just really amazing to connect with that energy in that way. Oh, and we helped by focusing energy on the ley lines. We even zoomed out and sent energy to all of Gaia. And it was really, really powerful and super beautiful. And she's saying that she would like to do that again. So if you guys are interested, I can schedule a galactic earth healing meditation here on Channeling with Love. We can just do it live like this sometime. So definitely let me know in the comments if you're interested in that, because I can make that happen. She's pointing to, I'm also actually going to be opening up another starseed class for the first week of August. So I'm actually going to be setting that up tonight or tomorrow. If you're interested, that will be coming out very, very soon. And I'll be posting more information on that once I get it all put together. But I will be having a pretty awesome starseed class in August. And it's going to be great because we're going to do meditations, kind of like what she's pointed to. And they've actually requested to also provide a healing. So I do angelic Reiki healing, and the galactic beings join, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but the galactic beings join in those healings as well. And that's what we're going to be doing in that starseed class, as well as getting everyone the information on their starseed families, how to work with your starseed family, what you can do to help others with your starseed families, like the meditations and doing other cool things. And I'm seeing lots of comments. Yay, yes, you guys are totally down to do that meditation. So I will definitely be doing that, setting that up very soon. So in the events section here in Channeling with Love, you will see I will post an event and I'll share it out so it'll show up on the group wall and everything. But definitely if you're interested, I will get that set up, and that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited. You guys are down for that. And okay, that'd be really great. All right, so now I'm going to ask if Gloria has any other messages that she'd like to share. She's just so excited that so many of you have reached out to your starseed families or are interested in reaching out to who your starseed families are and learning about your origins and really incorporating them into your spiritual practice and connecting with them, because they have so much love for each of you. And she's just kind of giving me like a group, like a shoulder hug right now. She is just so excited that that you guys are really interested and want to connect and want to reach out. And she says that this is a great sign. There's going to be much discovered for yourself when you connect with your starseed family. And I know a lot of you have actually joined some of my starseed classes and connected with your starseed family. So if you feel comfortable, feel free to share in the comments how that has made your life better, or how you've connected and received guidance from them. I would love to share any of that if you guys are interested. But it's just super awesome to have them kind of in your back pocket to lean on, to connect with energetically. They're so high vibrational, and it's just really powerful to connect. And while channeling, I've always felt, has made me feel like more of a universal citizen. Connecting with my starseed family has really kind of hit home for me with that feeling. We're not alone. We're not by ourselves. We have our angel teams, but we also have our starseed family, and they are watching humanity develop and move through phases and are really helping us move through quite a bit. So it's pretty awesome, and I love it so much. And yeah, okay. I'm asking her if that's it. She's saying, yeah, she wants to shift or hand it off to the council. Okay. So the Council of Light is a group of many representatives from many galactic beings that have come together, or galactic groups, so other civilizations. They've come together and they work to bring more light, not just to Earth, but to other places in the universe. And they're very, very high vibrational, powerful beings. And I actually, in my last RC class, connected with them greatly. They literally basically ran the entire class. And they are just so cool to connect with. And they are now going to speak to the more human elements of how healing takes place. But they're saying that a lot of this, the underlying principles, do not just apply to humans as a species, but all beings. And they want to reiterate that they work with everyone. They don't just work with humans or just certain galactic beings. They work with everyone in the universe, and or everyone who, you know, is ready to work with them or open to work with them. If you are not comfortable working with galactic beings, they will respect your wishes and you don't need to work with them. So there's always free will choice. But basically, the council stepping in now, and if you guys are practicing along, feeling the energy as I channel, the energy has shifted quite a bit. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the council is right behind me, coming in right through my crown chakra, right on my third eye area, right on my forehead, my face. My whole face feels like really hot right now. And I'm not surprised if I'm going to turn red. So much energy here. And they're coming straight down through the back of my neck. And it's kind of making me, there's a lot of pressure. It's kind of making me feel like my eyes just want to close. So if my eyes close, I'm just reacting to the energy. But basically, you're saying, hello, dear ones. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak on this matter. This is a critical element or a crucial element in the work that we do across the universe. We are all energy, and we are all one. So no matter what we look like, the principles of working with energy apply across the board. There are some unique aspects to being a human, as in your physiology, but also your emotional range, the energy that you can create or generate with your emotions. It's a very powerful skill. It allows you and helps you manipulate your reality and bring about abundance or growth opportunities, or experiences that may not, on the face of it, of the surface of it, be pleasant, but are indeed means of moving you forward, propelling you forward on your journey. So the frequency in which we resonate at, our emotions as humans can greatly shift us into really high frequencies or very low frequencies. And our choices allow us to use that energy to shift into the frequencies that we are resonating with at that time. So we have quite a bit of skill in using that tool, whether or not we've really mastered the way or understood the way in which it works for us. There are often many who take many human lifetimes or life experiences to learn this skill. And many of the galactic beings have developed past that. So they are further down in the energetic evolution of from where we're at as humans. And the Orions, they're stepping forward. They're a really good example. They have emotions. They don't need them as much as humans do, or use them as much as humans do, but they are able to tune into the frequency, change their frequency much easier than we can. And they just have a different way of utilizing those skills. And they're saying it's just different, but it's all the same. And how the healing elements come into that is they can help move the energy that's within your body. Sometimes this is related to your emotions, so your emotional body. We have 4 bodies: our emotional, mental, spiritual, physical body, and they can help shift the energy in all of those bodies. And there's just so much love that they're bringing to this conversation, because they know that this is sometimes hard for us to understand or grasp, and it takes some time and many reiterations of the same principles to help it click for each of us in our own experience. And so they're saying, if this is not resonating with you, that's okay. They are more than willing to answer your questions. You can just ask them, and they will work with you in however fashion you need them to help you get to a point of greater understanding. And that is up to you. But they're saying that the ways in which that they can utilize energy or work with energy is very interesting. And they're showing different tools, kind of like the gun blaster. It's almost like it kind of felt like one of those looking the telescopes that you'd see at like tourist attractions, where you like move it around and it's kind of big and bulky. It kind of felt like that. There are tools such as that that can help focus specific frequencies of energy that are needed to help a specific type of healing. So maybe for a physical healing, they'll use a tool to help blast that energy and focus it in. There is also, they're saying there's no tools needed as well, where they have the ability to just connect with their hands or their body or their mind. They can just connect with that energy, that healing energy of source, and direct it and ask it to move forward in a specific way. And they're connected to that way, or to that energy, and then they can direct it. And they're saying you may be familiar with this, as many of you are Reiki healers. So often Reiki healers will feel like, or any type of energy healer, it doesn't have to necessarily be Reiki, but any type of energy healer, you may feel in your hands like a tingling. You may feel in your core or around you an expansion, like an opening, sending that energy through and directing it towards a client or a person that you're working with. So that's the same principle, basically. They're saying that they also can work with many different types of beings. They don't have the constraints of time or space, so they can bring in other people or other beings that connect to the energy or bring forward their own, they're showing like their own color or frequency to the table to help with a healing in a specific way. And they're pointing to Dr. Lorfan. He's a Syrian doctor, and he's been hanging out in the back, just kind of watching. And I knew he would kind of come up in this part of the conversation. I work with him whenever I do a Reiki healing. I always call him in to really focus in on a lot of the physical ailments that clients may have. And it's really cool to see him work. I've seen him have like smaller hand tools where he's like laser focusing his energy and the energy that he's connecting with into a specific area of the body to get the desired effect, to blast out the energy that's just stored there, or to help with the healing that needs to take place in that space. And I've seen he has a large team as well that joins him of many different types of beings that are not all Syrians. And they are, I typically see the smaller ones, but there's so many that they kind of all, it's just like a big blur of energy sometimes. I don't see them each distinctively. Maybe I'll ask them to show themselves next time. But they all are able to help heal with moving the energy through themselves as well. And it's very powerful. And they're all at higher vibrational frequencies than we're at right now. Like, I'm asking Dr. Lorfan, what frequency do you reside in? Typically the 14th or 15th vibrational, the dimensions, those dimensions, there's frequencies associated with each of the dimensions. And he's typically in those that area. He does have to lower his frequency to get certain desired effects. Like if before, when I first started channeling, I probably would not have been able to connect with him because I was not at a level to where I could see his frequency or connect with his frequency as easily. It would have been a little bit of a stretch or overwhelming for me to connect. But he's saying that it's all in due time. But he works with many beings, and he closely works with Jesus as in healings. And I call both of them in for pretty much every Reiki healing that I do. But anyone else, any ascended master that resonates with the person or has something specific to bring to that person for their healing will show up. And I always love seeing that. And I just love seeing Galactic Healers, so their starseed families coming in and working with their family members. And I've seen that quite often. And they're just pointing to the video that we actually had a few weeks ago before the last group healing that I'd had. There was Tenzin, who was really awesome. She told me all about her experience with her starseed family. They actually did a big bulk of the healing for her. And they actually took her out of her body into their ship and removed a bunch of stuff that she didn't even know she needed. And galactic beings can do a lot of really cool work that I think is just super, super awesome to recognize. And so glorious coming back in, and she's pointing to one thing that Tenzin brought up in her comments and her sharing her experience from her group healing experience was like a liquid. It was basically like this liquid energy that she was covered in and filled up with. And they use a lot of different techniques to help permeate our cells and our body with love and light source energy, or the colors, and help with color therapy that we may need in that time or at that moment. So they use a lot of different techniques. I'm asking them now, and I'm turning to the council. So they're showing like the more physical aspects of how to share energy. but they're now pointing to the mind. There's a lot of work that's done when connecting with your starseed family, or when galactic beings join a Reiki healing or any type of healing that takes place for our physical, mental, spiritual, emotional bodies. And so they connect using their mind to energies, the love and light energy. They'll bring that forward. And they have pretty much, the council saying, they've seen it all. They know everything that has gone through, especially if they're a starseed family member. They're like guardian angels. They can hear everything, sense and know everything that's happening with us in our mind. And there's no corner that they do not have an awareness of when they're connecting to do the healing. And sometimes there are elements in our mind that we are not even aware of. The memory, the mind of a human, while it's an amazing computer, basically an organic computer, sometimes we don't have full functionality in the way, and they're showing in the way of the way we connect to our thoughts, or our visualizations, the memories in our mind. We're each of us very different, and it's a really unique experience on how we really connect with the inner workings of our thought process in our mind. So sometimes, it's not always a one-size-fits-all type of thing when they're going in to do healing in the mind. And they're saying that it's a beautiful thing to be allowed to go in and work with people, because there's so often we have these barriers in our minds. We've created these fears, these walls, these challenges in our own thoughts, in our own minds, that we really don't need. And they take great pleasure in helping us remove those fears, those thoughts, those barriers, to allow us to recognize that we are a much greater being than what our ego, part of our mind, would like us to believe. The ego has a role. It helps keep us safe physically in specific ways, but it doesn't really have as great of a role as you move forward and you're working with your true self. And I'm just checking in. I see lots of questions here, but I see Amy just asked, do you know yet when you might do your connecting with your starseed family class again? Yes, Amy, I'm going to be doing that August 1st through August 8th. I just have to get it set up. I haven't fully gotten it set up on my website yet, which is channelingwithlove.com. That's where you can go to register. And it's going to be pretty awesome. There's going to be a lot of live channeling. Kristen Davies is going to be joining me and also doing some live channeling in there, as well as an angelic Reiki / galactic being Reiki healing will be taking place. We're going to do a targeted structured meditation with the Council of Light. And there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm really excited. I just got to get it set up. So I will be advertising for that probably tomorrow, because it's Advertising Friday here in Channeling with Love every Friday. So I'll be sharing that out. So definitely keep an eye out for it. But if you're interested in this conversation or anything about your starseed family, definitely consider signing up for the class. It's a really cool way, and it's in a private Facebook group. I set it up to where it's very relaxed and chill, and everyone's there to just learn and have a really good time. So I highly encourage and welcome anyone who's interested in connecting with their starseed families, because it's really beautiful. Like I said, like my life has changed because I've been able to connect with them, and it's just so cool. Okay, so I'm just checking to see if there's any big questions here. Sorry for the pause. So they were talking about how it's an honor for them to actually be able to go in and help us remove those barriers through that energy healing, through Reiki. Well, I'm saying Reiki because I do Reiki, but through any type of energy healing. And they're saying while you can request a structured healing, which the council is, oh, this is cool. The council is requesting that they be specifically called in my next group healing, which is actually going to be July 25th. So heads up on that. I do have that on my website right now, channelingslove.com. But they're going to be joining, the council will be joining that. And I feel like that they're going to be taking a pretty large or active role in it. If you participated in any of my other healings, there's tons of galactic energy that comes through, but I'm excited to hear that the council is requesting that they want to join. So they'll definitely be there, which that's going to be really exciting. And so you can get a healing with them in a structured way by working with a healer, any type of healer that resonates with you, or you can call on them yourselves. And they're saying the key here is free will choice is a really beautiful thing that we have here on Earth, and that is protected at all costs. So if we choose to connect with them, we choose to ask them for help, they are there. They want to help us out. They want to work with us. So if you want to call them in, you can ask them to help you by transmuting the energies around you. If you need any energy transmuted in your home, cleaning, basically do a cleaning of your home with the energy. You can ask them to clean the energy in your body, your mind, your emotional body, your spiritual body. You can ask them to help guide your thoughts and keep turning you to higher vibrational things, just as you would with your guardian angels. The galactic beings can also help you with that as well. And your starseed family plays a pretty big role on your spiritual team. They're also ones that will provide a lot of guidance in meditations. So if you want to connect with them and learn and kind of heal from maybe past experiences, or if you want to heal your past lives or future lives, your other selves, you can ask them to step in and do that. And the key is to ask them, but then also to trust and know that they are there to do that work and that it's done. Because once you ask them, they don't need you to ask them 5 more times the same day. It's done like that. And they will work with your guardian angels, and they will, do anything that you need as far, if you want to ask them specifically for the topic of this conversation with healing. They will also help you with lots of other things. But for the healing elements, if you want to engage with them, you can have them be a part of your staff, basically, or your team. You can call it your business team. I actually have what I like to call, I'd like to think of as like a board of trustees. So I have a whole slew of people that I turn to, or beings that I turn to for guidance and for my own healing and support. And I like to work with them, and I have a lot of galactic beings on there, and it's super, super cool because I feel like I'm always supported, and in anything that I need healing with, but also anything that I'm facing just in my regular life, just day-to-day life, anything that I need guidance with, they're right there. So definitely they're amazing, and that's one of the benefits of, like I said before, connecting with starseed families. But if you're just interested in connecting, that would be really cool. So I'm just checking here. Mariel's asking, in one of my dreams, I saw thin and white beings with big black eyes waving at me through a window of their spaceship. I woke up excited and happy. Was that just a dream or real? They're just like so excited, Muriel, because they're very, very happy that you like recognize them, and they just wanted to say hi. That was totally real. Maybe the visual might have been different, or not 100% like what they look like, because they want to connect with you. And in your dream state, sometimes things just need to be presented in a certain way to get through all your filters and to get you to see it and really notice it. So I'm just seeing like maybe a cartoonish type dream, but they are really, really happy, and the gesture and the connection was definitely real. They wanted to say hi and let you know that they were there. So that's super awesome. And the fact that you woke up excited and happy is so funny. It's not funny, it's really cool, but it's interesting because when I see things in dreams, I do the same thing. I just wake up, I'm really excited, I'm really happy, but sometimes when I do that, it like shakes me or jostles me out of the dream because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And I'm working on managing my energy so that way I don't shake myself out of that state of being able to see them or connect with them in that kind of sleepy space. But that's so cool that you were able to see them. That's really awesome. Excuse me. So Marie Eve, is asking, could you tell us more about hybrids, why they exist, and what does it mean to be a hybrid, and if we should be aware of it, or can we go through all our lives without noticing? So yeah. Okay, Gloria's here with a gray being. And she's saying typically sometimes in these parts, so like in the Earth space and in other places where we have great emotional range, so in other places like us, grays often work and create hybrids to help them develop basically to help them evolve and move forward on their evolutionary journey to actually have the emotional range that allows them to develop spiritually. The cool thing about being here on Earth as a being of light and love, we choose to come here because we are able to grow very quickly and expand very quickly through the experiences and the use of emotions that we have here on Earth. This is one of the primary reasons why hybrids exist. There is a way to incorporate some of those human characteristics into their civilization, and the Greys are very predominant proponent of using hybrid technology, hybrid evolutionary steps. So they are working on this, and they are working with many here on Earth who recognize that this is important and have accepted and have agreed to work with them in that fashion. So there's a lot of work, there's a lot of energy put into the hybrids, and Gloria's, oh, sorry, I bumped my table. Excuse me, Gloria's also saying that for other civilizations, other groups of galactic beings that work with hybrids, they're working with hybrids for a lot of the same reasons, but also developing or looking to connect in ways that further the means of bringing more light and love here to Earth, anchoring more light here on Earth. And some beings don't really have an opportunity to experience the space the way that humans do. So either they're choosing to come here as humans in their next life experience, but there's also, and that creates starseeds, that's who we are, but there's also the use of hybrids to connect to that range and that the way in which we connect with energy. It's very unique here on Earth, and there's a lot of learning taking place through having hybrids and learning from them and connecting with them. And the rest of your question around that, which is so fascinating. Honestly, I haven't really stopped to think much about hybrids. Just never really thought to question it. But what does it mean to be a hybrid? And if we should be aware of it, or are we going through all our lives without noticing? Well, I think, Marie Eve, if you, as a hybrid, there's that means of experiencing the tools in which humans have, as well as the tools of the other beings, the other group. And there can be some experiences where they're hybrids living here on Earth, and I'm sure they're well aware of it. I don't think they could move through life without noticing or being aware of who they are, if that's kind of what you're asking. We ourselves can be very aware of hybrids. Sometimes there's Gloria's chiming in on this. She's saying often we have encountered hybrids and we haven't even known it. Either they look very similar to humans, like enough to where we don't question that they're human. They just look like regular people. But there are others who are able to change their form, to change their face, or influence our senses in a way that allows them to move through society, or through like walking down the street without us fully recognizing it. Sometimes when we just get that like questioning, like gut instinct of like, oh, you're different, but I don't know why. There's a lot of that. She's saying many humans can detect hybrids, and they continue on without really stopping, but they have that kind of suspicion, or it's just kind of different to connect with them, or that energy is different. But they're saying there are many around us, and you can be aware of it. It depends on where you put your focus. If you want to work with hybrids, you can do so. You can ask to work with them. Or if you don't even think about them, you may go through your whole life without really paying much attention to them. So I think it's all up to each person to determine how open or where they want to put their focus and work with that energy. So they're saying, yeah, they're kind of stepping back on that. So I hope that answers or clears up some of your questions, Marie Eve. Very good questions. Because like I said, I haven't really thought much about hybrids outside of, I've heard some channelings around how hybrids can really help with developing the means to have that spiritual growth that we have here on Earth. But outside of that, I haven't really thought much about it. So thank you for bringing that up. Amy is saying, today when I was in a meditation, I saw a toad-like multidimensional being that came to me. He said he was royalty, where he is from, and so I was, and so was I at one point. Can you tell me about that being and if they have a message for me? Amy, I'm just getting that you just need to trust your instincts. Use your, they're pointing to like use your eyes, but it's more like use all of your senses, your third eye, your clairsentience, your feeling, understanding the energy around you, and just trust yourself. That's everything that they're giving me. So I hope that resonates with you, and that's super cool that that being came to you. That's really cool. Oh, Paul has a good comment on the hybrids. It's easier for Grays to transition to hybrid than to human, rather than going straight into human form. That is totally true. I have met several people who you could tell were totally gray starseeds all the way. Life here is very bumpy, very difficult to get through, just because they're there is so much range and there is so much going on here that they don't necessarily have the tools yet to really flow through how everything takes place here on Earth. So using a hybrid as kind of a transition tool is also very handy. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. And I'm just getting a big thumbs up on that. That's awesome. Okay, so let's see here. I'm asking the council if there's anything else that they'd like to chime in on or share on. They're saying that healing is, the topic of healing is very fascinating, and that's some of their favorite work that they get to do here on Earth and throughout the universe in which they operate. And it's just, oh, sorry, a lot of energy coming in on that. They are just very honored to speak with you all on that. And they want you to connect with the topic of healing as something that sometimes it's interesting because they're showing like sometimes there's hesitancy to talk about healing, like you're broken so you need healing. It's not really like a broken or unbroken type thing. Is everyone needs healing. The earth needs healing. The flow of energy is a really beautiful thing to participate in, partake in, and it's just a refresh and a means of opening yourself up and really recognizing who you are as a being of light and love energy. And so they highly encourage anyone and everyone who's interested in connecting with them or seeking healing, or even if you don't think you need a healing, try it out, and you can reach out to them directly. You can go to an energy healer or Reiki healer or participate. I have a group healing coming up in July. You can check that out if you're interested. Or you can just directly ask them to help you with healing, and they will come in and help you. Looking at what healing means to you and how does it participate, or how does it come into your life, is always going to be unique to each of us. But they're saying that healing is a very beautiful activity, I guess. They're showing like it's more than just one action. It's an opening of your soul. It's an opening of and looking or reflecting at your experiences and recognizing what you can and can't live without. They're showing like washing away a lot of higher, lower vibrational or old energy that's stuck around a lot of people. We have all these, you know, past life traumas and traumas in our current life experience, and a lot of heavy energy that we carry around with us all the time. And we don't really need to do that. So getting the chance to free us up is a really liberating activity, and they love to participate, and they are encouraging all of us to participate in that as well. And for the earth, I will definitely be setting up that earth healing meditation here in Channeling with Love, that the council, and I'm seeing my Orion family and my Pleiadians family, as well as the I'm seeing the councils from both sides there. I feel like there's going to be a lot of galactic energy coming in with that. So if you're interested, I'll get that set up, and I am really excited to work with all of you, and I know they're excited to work with all of you in this. And yeah, I'm just looking to them. Is there any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to share? Saying no? Okay. So thank you guys so much for all of your questions. Thank you so much for hanging out and listening to them. This was a really fun channeling. I loved all of the questions and all of the stuff that they came forward with. I haven't really delved into deeply with a lot of specifically the more technical, well, it wasn't really technical because I don't know all the like scientific terms, but the more technical side of things in the ways in which they can direct energy and connect energy to Gaia. But anywho, I thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you all, and have a good night. Bye for now. Look for my events. I will be setting them up quite soon.